Trump supporters have spent the last 3 years going after protesters, rolling back any type of rights that protesters have. There was even a time when Republican lawmakers were thinking about allowing drivers to run protesters over if they're blocking the road. Now, all of a sudden, because of coronavirus and because they're being manipulated by right-wing groups, a bunch of conservative protesters are out on the streets risking their lives, risking other people's lives. And in one video, a protester explains why he's so infuriated about what the government is doing with these stay-at-home orders.
When the government say we can't go out, that's a prohibition. And it's illegal. It's against the Constitution. I'm immune compromised. I put that at risk today. Because I gotta be here.
Yeah. Are you scared to die?
No more scared than I am for anything else.
Freedom!
Freedom! Prolonged lockdown basically is slavery.
I'm risking my life today.
Lockdown is basically slavery. That was really a standout quote from that compilation of people who haven't really sat down to think about whether they believe the things they say. But Cenk, jump in. What do you think?
Yeah, so a couple of layers to this. First, on the protests. We covered how many stories, and you alluded to it just now, Anna, where different states made it illegal to protest. It was unbelievable. And so if you want to protest an oil pipeline, they made that illegal. So you could be arrested for saying, hey, you know what, maybe we shouldn't put a pipeline here that's going to leak into the water and pollute the water that my kids drink. Nope, arrested, okay? And the First Amendment that the right wing claimed to cherish, they didn't give a damn about, as long as it was in the service of protecting multinational corporations. So when African Americans went to go protest being shot when they were unarmed, the right wing said, just follow the rules, okay? If you follow the rules, you don't have any problems, you lawless African Americans. And when people protested, whether it's oil pipelines or, by the way, kids locked up in cages, they said, just follow the rules. If they didn't break the rules by coming into the country illegally, you wouldn't have any problems. Now they say, we're not going to follow any goddamn rules. Rules. I can't believe the governors are setting down rules. Because why? It's privilege. Rules are for you, to keep you down. The rules aren't for right-wingers. The rules aren't for these people. They think we made the rules. It's not meant to be fair. It's meant to just serve us and give us an advantage.
You're 100% right. And I couldn't help but provide evidence for our audience because I think that's important. And this isn't an old story, but it was a story that really stood out to me for how unbelievably cruel and disgusting it was. Here is Lou Dobbs commenting on a prison guard who attempted to run over protesters who were peacefully sitting in front of a detention center. They were protesting the brutal treatment of immigrants. So let's take a quick look at that.
Demonstrators blocking the entrance to a facility holding illegal immigrants. When the driver tried to pull in to the parking lot, the protesters surrounded him, yelling, banging on the hood of the truck, blocking his entrance into the facility. In jurisdictions all around the country, by the way, what they committed is assault. Trying to stop and block a vehicle is considered assault. In some instances, banging on an occupied vehicle is considered assault, which obviously the demonstrators may have committed in Rhode Island last night.
Let me be clear about something. The protesters were sitting on the ground. One of the protesters was actually in a wheelchair. They're seated on the ground, peacefully protesting. And then this guard attempts to run them over and they stand up and start surrounding his truck, right? Because I don't know, would you be a little upset if you're peacefully protesting, you're sitting on the ground and a guard tries to run you over with his truck? So Lou Dobbs thinks that type of brutal treatment, brutal response to protesters is totally fine. So I'm very curious if Lou Dobbs thinks the same thing about these people who are out on the streets right now, risking other people's lives by just protesting something that they don't even really fully understand yet. I understand that there's a portion of those protesters who are worried, they're stressed about their finances, they haven't received the type of financial relief they need, okay? And I think it's important to disaggregate that group of people. But that guy that was like yelling at the reporter about how wrong this is, and this is unconstitutional, and he's got, you know, a pre-existing condition, and he doesn't care, he's not afraid because he's got to go out there, and just sit and think about what you're doing right now, okay? You're being manipulated, and you're putting yourself and your family at risk, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah. I saw something in another protest that said, give me freedom or give me coronavirus. And I thought, yeah, maybe. So I don't think that's a thing that is saying what you think it's saying. So now on to the slavery sign that you guys saw in that compilation too, where the woman said this lockdown is the equivalent of slavery. Yeah, I don't think that providing health care was a hallmark of slavery. And so pretty sure that on the voyage here, preventing disease was not high on the list of the slave owners and the slave traders. So these references to slavery are so callous. So, and to them, look, I don't want to get into the gory details of slavery, which I do from time to time, because it is jarring. But the lynchings, the separations of the families, the whippings, and I'm not getting into the worst parts. So she thinks the government trying to save her life by giving her accurate information from doctors and scientists is the equivalent of that. The reason she thinks that is she's filled up to here with privilege. She thinks, I own the world. I've been told my whole life that people that look like me own everything and we have the right to everything. So if you impinge on anything that I'm used to having by even this much, I'll go, oh my God, it's slavery. It's slavery. Can you believe they took my right away to go get a tuna fish sandwich inside the restaurant? Now I have to take it out and bring it home. Oh my God, this is like slavery. Because,
or you can just watch Mark Warner make a tuna sandwich and make one at home with way too much mayo. Sorry, I had to mention that.
I disagree with that, but that's okay. That's a different argument. So look, if these guys lived in a world where if they lived on MAGA Island and all they did was infect each other, it would still be tragic because we care about human beings. But it would be less tragic than the fact that they actually live with people that don't think like them, but the virus doesn't give a damn what your ideology is. If you have it, you could spread it to people who don't agree with you at all ad infinitum. So they endanger not just themselves, but all of us.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.